Hello, I am back just to do a quick summary because I can't capture people's attention span for more than around about 3 minutes 40. So instead of going into all of the astrology, this is not for the astrologers, this is for the people that I just really want to see and need to see how this works. You don't need to care about astrology, you don't need to worry about it. You just need to know that people know how to find missing people and how to find perpetrators. I found the very specific, the exact house that the perpetrators lived at that murdered Savannah Soto and Matthew Guerra, and I want to show you. I've circled this big area around it. I don't think they live very far. They live close around here or close to where it happened. You know, I don't think they're Einsteins that have gone driving to a different state. So I believe that they live either inside or outside of just around this circle. Their car was found here on the 12-degree Taurus line, and there's the 10-degree Taurus. So if you'll notice here that we've got all of these lines, and it's always important to look at these lines here. This one here goes through Charlie Chan Drive and Cary Grant Drive, and it turns out that the house of the alleged suspects is on the corner here. So we'll have a look at the actual map in 1 second. Okay, so this is actually Scribble Maps, and this is the map that's been up for the whole time, but we can zoom in and change it. Let's go back to that so we can see it. Zoom in, move over here. Okay, so this is where I said that the perpetrators would be. Let's see where the house is. Okay, so lovely Rags to Itches, one of my favourite subscribers that's been with me for ages, put all the details. So we have 5735 Charlie Chan Drive. So let's pop that on the map. Let's just do it here. Okay, I've forgotten it already. Oops. 5735 Charlie Chan. 5735 Charlie Chan. How terrible. That house right there. So it nailed it. It just absolutely nailed it. And for me, this sort of thing I think could be used in conjunction with what the police do, because if they know that there's people that live in particular areas and, you know, they've got a suspect, and then happen to see, have a look at this. These lines happen to go to this house. How is that possible by using an astrology chart? So let's just, put that aside and try and figure that out later, but let's use this for goodness sake. So yeah, I'm trying to put together this so I can spread more awareness. I'm trying to shorten it, but it's so hard. It's hard to explain how it works because it's almost magical. It truly is. So, perpetrator's house. So I have no doubt that it's them. On the 10-degree Taurus moon, which is the ruler of the victim that would have been hidden at near their house. I found the house before the police. We need to spread this. We need to spread this far and wide. 7,000 people knowing that it works is fantastic. I think there's probably only about maybe 1,000 people that watch the videos all the way through, and I understand why. So maybe I just need to start just putting up maps, just map after map, and not explain the astrology, but it's just inside of me. I can't help it. I like to explain what's happening so you can see that it's not just a load of crap and it doesn't get debunked immediately like everything does these days. This time, though, the moon has moved radically. The moon was at 29 degrees, which was actually confusing because if they were last seen at a 29-degree point, you would think they would be killed very, very almost immediately afterwards. So it should have alerted me to the fact that I'd made the wrong chart then. But anyway, the moon at 10 degrees of Taurus matches up with the map for where their car was found. But putting up this chart just a couple of hours after they were quote unquote last seen, by whom I'm not sure, have a look at it. We have 7 degrees Gemini as the victims, 7 degrees Sagittarius as the perpetrator. So the victims are ruled by Mercury, which is at 0 degrees. The perpetrator is ruled by Jupiter, which is over here at 5 degrees 42 of Taurus, so just about the same spot and in the same house as the other chart. I thought that there was a female involved, and I'm not 100% sure on it. I'm swaying back and forth between the female. Female is Venus here in Scorpio in the 6th house. So, you know, I think we have all of our perpetrators in here. And, you know, maybe there's a female that's just, you know, these are all grouped together, and the female is just out of sight and underneath the DC too. So literally in a shadow, out of sight. You know, maybe there's a female that knows what's going on, but really doesn't want to be a part of it. That could be the situation. This chart as well has 20 degrees of Leo on the end of the matter. So making the sun important, because the sun rules Leo. The sun is 1 degree away from the 8th house of death. So that's this older man, but older than the other people that were with him. So motive's hard because the very first thing that rises on the DC here is Mars, and Mars rules weapons and violence and all of those types of things. And being in Sagittarius, it just amplifies that need for violence and more weapons and such. So it leaves a lot of room for interpretation. But then when we look at the ruler of the perpetrator being Jupiter over here in the 12th house, hidden away, secretive, in Taurus, which is the sign of money, next to the moon, which is the co-ruler of the victims, that tends to then point in the direction of money being owed. So it still stands with the positions of where I think the perpetrator and perpetrators are. I think they live nearby. I think they live near where Savannah lived, actually. And that it then now is shown with that moon, which is the co-ruler of the victims, right next to the ruler, or conjunct the ruler of the perpetrator in the 12th house. So there's a connection between the perpetrator and the victims, and there's a closeness to them as well, and that can be vicinity. So the map still stands, even the directions and the radius. The reading is a little tricky. The one thing I do see here is the Sun and Mercury are both at 0 degrees of Capricorn, very, very close to each other. So it's shining a light from this older male onto these two other people. So I think there's someone that's in charge, two other people that did some dirty work, and the anger came about over money owed, possibly over drugs. So I do apologise for making the chart mistake last night. I don't believe anything's a mistake though, and I'm going to be interested to see if anything happens on the 22nd of January of 2024, because that's when I did the chart for. So yeah, these things happen for a reason, even though my brain sometimes is a little bit sizzled. Usually I'm quite surprised by the results, so let's keep our eyes and ears open and hope that they catch these guys soon. And they will. They'll get them soon. I think, like I said, they're on the radar. They're known. They've been in prison before. Yeah, it's as I know now from the comments, it's a bad area. It's a terrible. So it's really generally showing us very much of the same picture. I'm looking at it and just still seeing guns and money. So there's still criminal activity. I thought that there was a female involved, and I'm not 100% sure on it. I'm swaying back and forth between the female. Female is Venus here in Scorpio in the 6th house. So, you know, I think we have all of our perpetrators in here. And, you know, maybe there's a female that's just, you know, these are all grouped together, and the female is just out of sight and underneath the DC too. So literally in a shadow, out of sight. You know, maybe now that we know what we know, when the man walked out of the house looking very much like a woman, it makes sense that this Venus wasn't making sense to me. But also, if you look at this opposition, it's to Uranus. So it's, you know, I think it's very possible that this could be that person there. But I don't discount that there's another female, and it could possibly be mum. Okay, everyone, take care. Talk soon. Bye.